Wow. Okay. What's going on, everyone? Welcome again to once again here with myself and the man, Edwin the Great Britt. He is with us from North Carolina. I'm Michael Ray Newman coming to you live from deep in the heart of Texas. It's freezing cold. We've had a fantastic day. Edwin and I have been jamming since about 5:30, 5:45 my time. E, what about how you been feeling? You holding up, baby?
Yeah, man, we were doing this about 12 hours ago, just like this with a group out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're just going, right?
We love it, man. This is a lot of fun. I'm really grateful that when you guys stopped in tonight or you're watching this on replay, thank you for stopping in. Remember, if you get on these calls, because what we're doing our little training series at the end of the year. We call it Finish Strong to Start Fast. And all that is about is building a little momentum, not totally checking out. I know we have Christmas, we have holidays, we have family, we have people coming in our lives, going out our lives. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, and I'm about tired of it, man, I just got to get through. I just got to get through. Man, let's don't get through. Let's grow through. Let's thrive. Let's don't survive. Let's thrive. And I mean, right now, Edward's going to be hard to hold me down. I know we got to do some teaching. We're going to talk about forecast, projection, and go. I've got my goals lined out, and they're not really goals. They are just direction of what I'm going to accomplish. Now, it's just a matter of time because I'm always adjusting. I'm going to plan my work and work my plan. That is 100% fact. But tonight, I want you to make it about you as we go through this. Edwin and I always say, think about you, think about your business, check out for a minute. The kids are in another room, the spouse is over there hollering. Just check out, all right? Take a deep breath. Let's just sit down. Let's reset. Let's refocus. Let's restructure some things, and let's relaunch. Let's do it consistently over and over. And let's be intentional about being one thing, consistent, relentlessly consistent. I mean, I'm teaching these things when we're writing the process right now. And as we go through and do this, I'm pretty excited about a lot of these things, and it was really awesome today. We had several calls and several meetings. One in particular we were talking about early this morning. We jumped on, been coaching with them for 2 years, and we went around the room and just kind of said, what have they gotten out of it? What's one thing? And it was really awesome to see the things that came back to us. It was not necessarily like a trust or pogo, although they did mention those things. It was attitude. It was expecting. It was being intentional. It was all those intangible things that if you focus on what people don't focus on, that's what you're going to achieve, right? I mean, you're going to give you a little bit more about leaving it all on the field and ringing the rag. That was really for me, Edwin. It was pretty validating. Made me feel good. You know, they got a feather in our cap that people are actually catching on, learning, and we are making a difference. And it was really the best part about it. I don't want you to jump in here, Edwin. Is the fact that they didn't talk about their work and closing their big deals. They talked a little bit about it, but also they talked about doing what? Making the real impact, which is the significant piece. And I know you're going to talk a little bit about that, which we always do, is about the faith, the family, and the friends, and the relationships they really do have.
Yeah, Michael, so well said. You know, when people start talking with you historically about your planning and they put themes behind it like finish strong, start fast, what are we going to do in 2021 and all those things. So for our audience today, I want to make sure you hear this. You're much more in control of your actions than you are your results. So oftentimes we focus on results, but the reality is it's our actions that ultimately are the predicators of our results, right, Michael? And so it's really about, as you said, being intentional in what you're going to implement this year. We all have this vision, and we think we do this time of the year. Okay, what's next year going to look like? But the physical universe doesn't change because of your vision or what your desires. Your universe changes based on your actions, being very intentional, being very consistent. And again, your actions, your day-to-day actions, yours, mine, and our audience tonight are going to be the predicators of what we achieve. Everybody's focused on results, but process always comes before results. And Michael, that's what we're doing. And when I think about process and I think about how we can set up our year, you gave us a formula, and I'm going to encourage everybody to just take a second, grab a pencil, piece of paper, the old-fashioned way, and I want to encourage you to do this. And I'm going to just briefly talk about it and then hand it to you because really you created this, Michael. And that is how we achieve more. And I know this, brother. It's impossible to hit a target that you haven't set, right? Yeah. And so when we think about goals and planning, we typically have 2 points of reference. So as you begin thinking right now, and I hope you got that pen and piece of paper in front of you, what you want to achieve in 2021 in your business and in your shuffle, right? In your whatever business you're in, and also your side hustle and shuffle, what do you want to achieve? I want to tell you that whatever those numbers are, you can back into it with this formula. And Michael created this. It's so precise, but yet so simple. Most people have 2 points of reference. This is where I am. This is where I want to go. But Michael, I'm going to hand it back to you. You created actually 3 columns. And you created, and I want you to elaborate on this, you created something called forecast. And then your middle column is your projection. And then your third column is goal. Now, while I know you're going to elaborate and give the rationale behind those 3, here's what I want the audience to catch. If you only have 2 points of reference, you're going to fall somewhere between your beginning and where you want to go. But here's what Michael and I have discovered through many, many years of trial and error. When you got 3 points of reference, you're highly much more likely to fall between the second and the third column, which means you're exponentially growing in every area intentionally you want to grow. So, Michael, how did you come up with that? And what exactly for our audience does forecast, projection, and goal represent?
It really, what it is a vision, expands your vision, right? I mean, and also it allows us to create a focus of today, right now, what we want to achieve. Forecast, projection, and goal came about when I was selling knives and I was 20 years old and I was in 100% survival mode. I had to make enough money to buy diapers and pay the electric bill. That's number one. I got to do that. I got a new baby. I got a wife, and I got to be able to pay my electric bill, get my diapers paid, and that's where it was. That was the forecast. That's the minimum. If everything goes wrong on what we're looking to achieve, what we want to accomplish, everything goes wrong, what does it really look like? What's the bare minimum? And then you look at that and think, oh yeah, I can do this. Because normally what you do, the process is, here's where I am, like you said, Edwin, here's where I want to go. It's a big leap. And if everything did just right, then you get excited by listening to something or doing something. I can do this. That person did it. It looks easy. And that's where we're unconsciously incompetent. We don't even know it. We're just like, oh man, this is good. We can do it. We've set this big old huge goal, and I'm going to lose 40 pounds in 3 months or whatever it's going to look like. And it's going to be awesome. And then as soon as you start, you take one step and you go right off the cliff and you hit face down and smack it right in the face. And then it's done, over. Then you get out of the starting blocks. So I set that forecast. If I did stumble a little bit, and I said, but what is the word bear? I still have my forecast. I know I can hit this. Projection. Some things like real life, right? Some things go good, some things go bad. We're going to hit right in here. This is when I can maybe take my pretty little bride out to eat some dinner, pay the light bill, buy diapers, and we might even go to the Mexican restaurant down there in Houston, Texas for a minute.
I was about to say, mate, are you talking about like Applebee's or something, bro? Because
hey, back then I was, but we had a Ponchos and Papacitos, and that was like one step above, man. They had these really good fajitas, and man, it was like $18, which was like, oh my gosh, back then. And that's projection, man. That's for us that's when I start designing a life. We're crawling out of it. I can hit this.
So hold on. We weren't talking about Ruth Kitchen yet, right? We were talking about.
Oh, no.
Okay.
We're talking somewhere between Applebee's and we're talking about, there you go, man. We're going right here in the middle. Good old Texas. Okay. I'm gonna take you there next time we get to Houston. You shoot my wheels off. So projection is some things go good, some things go bad. That's what's going to happen in life, right? We're going to get going. We're going to have some good weeks, going to have some bad weeks, going to have some bad people, some not. Now, this is the third thing, the goal, which everybody sets. We're coming right up on that time. We're about to finish. We're going to start fast, right? Everybody's going to start fast next January. And it's going to be, people are going to run harder. It's just like hadn't been to the gym in 3 years. They're going to go so hard this year because it's 2021 and we're leaving 2020 behind more than any other year. We want to get out of it. That's the goal. Well, people are going to stretch themselves, set it too far. It's like when you hadn't eaten and you get in front of the buffet and then, oh my gosh, you hurt yourself, right? That's exactly what that goal is, and we do not hit them. And this is exactly what happened to me at that time, because I was in a campaign. I was in a race. Of course, I was a manager and I was selling knives and we were having some fun, but there was a bunch of young kids across the whole entire country. And I started off and I saw all of a sudden me falling behind all the fast starters. And that goal was even bigger than the goal that I set for where they were. So man, if I hadn't had the process, I would have been done. I went back and looked at, I mean, there were times all these newsletters and things were coming in and phone calls of all these people doing great all across the country. And I was looking at my little desk and I was looking at my forecast, my projection, and my goal. And there was days I was just looking at my little my little forecast. I got to hit this. I got to hit this. And then I had a good day. And then I said, man, if I can hit, then I had 3 good days and I had a good week. And I'm like, man, I'm almost at my projection. And then all of a sudden we started rolling, and our side of our middle of the country got out of school a little bit later. And then at that time, the way it all shook out, we started getting momentum. But I was looking at my forecast and hit my projection, hit my goal. And there were a lot of times that all of a sudden I was between my forecast, my forecast and my projection. Not my goal was not in sight until the last 4 weeks. I blew past the goal, won the national championship. I won it all back then, baby. But it all came back to this forecast, projection, and goal. And what that did, what it is, guys, it's a mindset. And it really just let me stay in the game a little bit longer. That's what it does. When it lets you stay in the game a little bit longer. And talk about an airplane, when it takes off, 90% of the time it's off course. But 99.99% of the time, it lands right where it's supposed to. So it just gave me an opportunity to give me enough focus to inspect what I expected, got the white gloves out, and stayed on point and adjusted it as we went.
Michael, what a great illustration, of achievement, about setting goals. But here's the reality. Here's what I heard you say underneath all that, right? Here's the in-depth look at what I just heard you say is, man, the dream is free, right? Like, everybody wants to hit the goal. The dream is free. We all want to have the best year. We want to all be the number one shuffle person. We want to make but the reality is this. The dream is free, but the hustle, that's sold separately, brother.
That's right. That's exactly right.
The hustle is sold separately. And that's what Michael and I want to bring you guys. The secret sauce, if there is one, is there is no secret sauce. Like, the elevator to the top, it's broken, man. You don't get there. You got to run up those steps one at a time. And that's why you do have to have a plan. And it seems cliche-ish, but then you got to work your plan. Again, it comes down to your day-to-day actions. And so our call tonight, our call to action for all of us is to create yourself a point of reference and then to begin implementing some of the strategies that you've heard Michael and I talk about. For instance, the win list. What's important now, right? Setting the right mindset and then having these intentional things that says, I'm going to do this today. It's not a to-do list. It's not that running pressure list of I'm behind that's going on in your mind that impacts your energy. It's those 1 or 2 things that says, okay, I'm going to get real intentional about reaching out and sharing the message of Shuffle, what it's done for me and what it will do for you. How many of those conversations am I going to have? How many people between now, Wednesday, and Saturday am I going to become intentional about inviting for them to discover Shuffle as an affiliate program? Michael, I got to tell you, I got really intentional about that yesterday. And let me tell you, man, I batted 100. Do you know 100% of the people that I spoke to, and I didn't approach them by, hey, I got this wonderful, great thing you got to come and be involved in. And I was talking to them about their business and what they're trying to accomplish. And they told me, and inside of that, they began speaking about some of their challenges, right? So connecting with people is tough, drip campaigns, emails. Man, nobody wants to answer their phone this time of the year. Really, people really kind of like a text. And I was like, so if something existed that was all contained in one platform and it can do this for you, is that something you'd be interested in knowing more about? And they were like, yeah, well, what are you talking about? You see what I mean? You see how that became intentional about them? So I decided to have an intentional conversation. I was meaningfully specific about their reasons and what they're trying to solve. And then I just upset their status quo by saying, if something like this existed, would you like to know more? Hey, Michael, you and I aren't overly smart, man. but here's what I do know. I batted 100%. That's going to, and guess what? 100% of those conversations are going to become new Shuffle people. And you know what? It wasn't hard. It was already part of my naturally organic part of my conversations. And hey, I got 5 new people. There's now 5 new people from yesterday's conversations that are going to be Shuffle members. I know you do that every day as well, Michael. Sometimes we make this harder than it is.
Yeah, it really is. And what you've done, Edwin, because they were on your list, you had a list out is what you did. And we talked about this. And all of a sudden you said, I'm going to listen to them. Number one, you listen, right? You are a good listener. You are a good finder and a good listener. And then as they talked about the problems they were having, especially right now, I can give you something that you can fall back on and give you measure, monitor, and track. And you're like, oh, man, I got this little tool. And you will go, and you have gone 5 for 5 for that. As to give you guys a process of, because Edwin uses the trust process, and I'm going to give you something behind the forecast, projection, and goal you might be able to use. I saw Irma say, "Hey guys, I'm just now new to StreamYard, and I'm seeing that I'm running it tonight. Usually Rebecca runs it, but I'm seeing some comments come over here. Appreciate y'all say hello to me." I saw Irma said it's her problem's not being able, it's not being able to break down the goal. And to give you a little something you do, because so many times people say, man, I got to lose weight. All right, how much weight you want to lose? More than I have now. Well, I mean, they go a day and you lost half pound. There you go. I want more money than I have now. Boom, there's $5. Go do something. You got more money. What does it look like? Man, I wish I had a new side hustle. I want to make X number of dollars with my side hustle. Okay, what does that really look like? We got to back into it. You got to find out and understand the product that you're selling, your audience, your customers, your external and internal you're talking to. But I want to give you something tonight, Irma, that's going to be pretty cool. And it's called What If. Get you a blank sheet of paper. I usually do it on a whiteboard when we're coaching people. And I got a yellow piece of paper, so we can go yellow or whatever color you got there. I have my whiteboard back here. I do it for you, but I don't. And I want the top of that thing, I want you to draw. I want you to write down whatever it is. Let's say it's more money, or making X number of dollars with something. Put in the what if. And I'm going to put what if at the top. And the very bottom, I want to give it to the person. I want you to take the pen, and I want you to draw you down there, a little stick figure. And when I do this, it's funny because some people have come in and they'll take 3 colors of markers and draw their hair in their different dress and color on or whatever. But me, I just put a little stick figure. So what I've done is put WF at the top, and I put a little stick figure right yonder. So that's what it looks like. There's me right there at the very top. There's a WF. What if? I know it's not possible, but what if it was? I know it's not, and that's okay. This is the goal thing, right? I know it's not even possible at all for you to quit your job or make X number of dollars or lose so much weight. I know it's not, but and what happens is the gap. What you're trying to define, Irma, is the gap. The gap is the white space, or in this case, the yellow space. So what you want to define is that gap. Now, how do we do that? That's the problem. I set my goals. I know what I want, but I don't know how to break them down. I want you to tell me this right here, why you can't. And I did say it, upset your status quo, right? When we can upset your status quo, you're open for what? Learning, but more important, retention. You're open for retention. So what we try to do is upset your status quo. So tell me why you can't. I know can't's a cuss word, and they're going to say time. Okay, we're going to write time down here. And then we're going to say, family. And then we say this. So we write down all these things in this space why we can't do it. Which way? Yeah, right there. And then I want you to circle this one or put a little box right there. You box that one up. And now I want you to tell me what would have to happen for you to have enough time. What would we need to accomplish for you to have enough time? And we start defining that. So we're not trying to get to the top. We're just trying to solve that one issue. And then we go back through. And when we do this in coaching, we do back and forth. Okay, what about your family? Where do you need to put in the whole wheel of life that we teach? Mentally, physically, spiritually, and personally, for you to be healthy enough to put your family in a good enough spot where you feel like you have enough time and you have enough resources for you to be able to go for the what if that you're trying to do. And when we get those 3 or 4 things solved, then Edwin, we go to the what if, and that's when you write down the forecast, the projection, and the goal on this what if, because you're not at G. We're not going from 0 to 140 right off the bat, right? We're going from 0 to 25, 45. And have you ever gone 100 miles an hour? Remember the first time you ever did? You about sucked up the whole seat from your behind because you're so freaking out, right? But now when you drive 100, I know you got a little sports car there. When you go 100 now, it's like, oh, I'm going 110. Don't even know it. So when we get used to running at that pace, that's when you can go a little bit further. Here's the goal, right? We always talk about it. You got to go as far as you can see. And when you get there, Edwin, you'll be able to see further, right?
Yeah, Michael, what a great, again, sense of visual and an applicable principle that you just gave, Irma, and really everyone listening today. And what I took away from that was hope. Like when you can define the gap, it gives you a sense of hope. And we all know this. Hope is the foundational quality of all change. Without hope, you're not going to improve. But everybody that just saw that should come away with a sense of hope. And Michael, we were talking, I don't know how we got on the car thing tonight, but we're both, fans of cars. And Henry Ford, the great inventor and named after Ford, the Ford Motor Company, said this: you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do, right? About what you're going to do. You build a reputation on what you do. And so again, the underlying theme tonight is, hey man, we love you guys. We love our community. We know that these principles we're putting up, we're asking you to pick up and put down, because not for us, not for Michael, not for Edwin, not for Guy, not for ER, but for you, because they're time tested and proven. We're going to do it. It's not going to change our life whether you do it or not. But because we care about you. And that was so cool. We referenced our early webinar with the group in Knoxville, Michael. And you taught me this. You either educate or you validate. And we validated today that after 2 years, we had really made a difference in their lives. And that's the goal. That's the driving, that's our purpose. That's why we're doing it. So as we leave you tonight, stay aligned with your purpose, become very intentional, and pick up and put down the ahas that you're picking up in these calls. And also celebrate the fact that you have taken the time tonight, either live or in a recording later on all these various platforms, to invest in yourself, because that's what we're doing. We're investing as much as we're investing in you. I assure you, Michael and I are investing in ourselves, because you can't talk about this and then not be better as a person. So Michael, thank you for the privilege again of joining you, my friend. It's always, I learn something every single time.
Man, dude, Edwin, I know we're in the holidays and we're at the time of being grateful. We talked about it this morning with the crew and a couple of people that we were working with. We're at a point in our life now that we are trying. We hang out with people we like, right? And people that we grow with, and people that impact us as well. So I get just as much out of these things as you guys do. So when you go back through and dissect this, you start with what if. In every single goal, every area, spiritually, what do you really need? How do you need to get fed? Mentally, we got to be healthy, right? Physically, if you get out, Edwin says this really good at some point in our trainings, our 3-day trainings, we can have all the money in the world, but if you can't play with it, what fun is it, right? When we get old. So you got to take care of yourself too. And then personally, what are you like in your personal relationships? The first 4 things of the wheel of life are about you, making you healthy. So when we say pour into yourself, and then the next 3, obviously, family, because you can't have the best family or be the best for your family, because that's all we want, right? We get the job and work harder so we can give our family and our kids better than we had. That's what our parents wanted to do for us. That's what we've done. But when we get into it, we start working 80 hours to get 40, and then everything gets behind, and you're always focused on money. You never get anywhere, because guess what? You're always chasing the tail. And when you said at the very beginning, you cannot hit a target you cannot see, period. If you don't write it down, you are not going to hit it. I mean, it's just a fact. Now, how do we write it down, discombobulate it, reset it, reverse engineer it, and then build it back? It's the what if, the stick figure at the bottom, WF at the top. What if, and then in the middle, why you can't. And then it takes time. It takes, up to 3. We've done it, Edwin. We've taken up to 3 weeks for people to set their goals out. This is not a small, short process. Now you can iterate on fast. And when you get the wheel of life and you combined all these things, this is more than a 25-minute teaching. And I'm sorry we're going a little bit long tonight, guys, but shoot, it's the holidays, right? Let's just go have a little extra fun. We got a little gas in the tank. Leave it all on the field, baby. Let's bring the rag. We got to do that. Leave it. So because we've been going enough, right, Edwin? We got to do it. Leave it all on the field. Let's go a little bit longer. I know we got people here, but hey, man, I got a couple more things for you. Edwin, come on, bring it up. Let's empty the gas tank tonight.
Hey, man, 12 and a half hours is not enough. Let's go for 14 today, man. Let's put 14 in. Let's go.
Hey, I got one for you. Here's the deal. Most men speak about 12,000 words a day. Women speak 24,000. So I ran out of my 12 a while back. And that's why sometimes my wife gets upset. By the time I get home, I'm done, and she's just not getting warmed up. So you got to understand that. You got to save a little bit for that, right? But, I want to empty the gas tank tonight, guys, and we talk about this piece of it. You've got about, I don't know, we got 20 days, or not even that, man. It's the 15th. You got 16th. You got 14, 15 days left in this year. It's done. Over. 16. Okay, 14. 15 days and it's done. Over. Coach out. What are we going to do right now? What are you prepared to do about you to make this the best 15 days that we can? Okay, not the best. Take that back. The most productive. How can you be the most productive spiritually, mentally, physically? And I love what God does. He every day gets up and he pours into that stuff. A lot of time at the gym, but he'll also be listening to something. I'm sure he writes or journals or reads. That's what you have to do, man. It takes a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. Just be a little consistent about those things. And Edwin, I know you do the same thing when it comes down to your routine in the morning. Those little patterns of the right things, just being consistent, relentless about one thing. I always say relentless is a huge word, but be relentless about being consistent. I'm going to get up every day at the same time, no matter what time I go to bed. I'm going to spend X number of dollars here, X number of time here.
I love that, Michael. And what a great way to kind of end our evening together is because there's probably somebody there going, man, that all sounds great, but my tank is empty. Like I'm just trying to keep my head above water. And in 2020, whether it's been health or finances or all this unexpected and all this change, and we can all relate. And Michael and I have a compassionate spirit towards that. But so we want to make sure you are taking the time. Like you can drive a car only so far, and you got to put gas in the tank. You got to get new tires. You got to keep those oil changed. Well, it's the same thing with the human body. You got to make sure you're refueling and taking the time. So we hope that you are. Michael just talked about routine, being intentional about that. I mean, Michael, some of my favorite things in the morning is if I'm up before my family and I go into a special place in my home and I spend some time with really in my world, a spiritual book about Jesus, and it's a daily devotional that I read, and it just fills me up, right? Because what you put in is what you send out, and what you send out is what you get back. And I just want to remind everybody that you got to take, Michael says it so well, you got to take care of yourself before you can go out and take care of others. So if you feel empty, you're running on empty, like the old Jackson Brown song, right? Few of us will remember that one, Michael, right? Running on empty, Jackson Brown. Yeah,
I wish I could say I didn't remember that, but I kind of do.
Yeah, it was like foggy. But hey, fill yourself up and just know that the LFI Shuffle community is here to support. And we're just going to get better. We're just getting started, guys.
Right. Understand this, guys. The reason these are for you, the reason we're telling you got to fill up, because somebody, remember this, and we're ending right here, okay? And remember, this is it, unless it's not. But I'm going to tell you right now, you have to do that. You owe it to yourself to be the best version of you that you can be. Because somebody needs the best version of you tomorrow. Do you understand what I'm saying? You've got to do it because somebody needs the best version of you. Whether it's your family, whether it's a friend, whether it's a random stranger, and you've always got to be ready. People are rewarded in public for what they've done in private for years. At the end of the day, when we're gone, we're sitting on our deathbed, nobody else is around, because everywhere you go, there you are, right? I had that conversation, told that story this morning, but that's you. You deserve to be the best version of you. You deserve other people because they need it. They deserve it. You most importantly deserve it. And at the end of the day, you got to empty the tank. You got to leave it on the field. The reason you got to leave it on the field because you can never go back to that. And when you're on your deathbed, there's going to be all these opportunities standing around you, and they're going to say, we put our faith in you. You could have done so much more if you just would have taken care of the little things and made you the best version of you. Because when Edwin said it, baby, when you put it out, what you put out is what you get back. What you think is what you attract, what you speak is what you become, but what you write down, forecast, projection, and go, that's what you achieve. So let's go out, let's achieve the best version of us. And if you'll do that, the rest of it just kind of falls in place, Edwin. I know it's hard, baby. You got to go as far as you can see. When you get there, we'll be able to see further, and it looks good at the top. Come on.
It looks good. It feels good. And hey, everybody on the call tonight, or everybody going to see this recording, invite not one, but two people at least to Saturday's discovery call. Michael and I will be locked in and ready. Can't wait to share with you guys. God bless. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everybody. Michael, thanks,
Appreciate y'all. Yeah, thanks, E. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you later.